But with the rudimentary understanding I have of science and the discipline specifically of biology and like organic chemistry and things, it's so sad to me because it's like there was a one time when like it mattered. Like I'm like, yeah, I do have scientific knowledge. I can explain this to you, but nobody really cares about the truth in science anymore. And we've really abandoned logic to the point that it breaks my heart because, you know, it's almost like I almost laugh at myself for almost wanting to go into this field because the regime has controlled so much of the institution of science that it's like, you know, you have to accept the tenets of macro evolution, even though it's so widely debunkable and it's, I mean, even in its current state, it's such a flawed theory and people accept it as truth. And I always tell people, like, if every major scientist is pretty much lying today and everybody who sees the truth is being censored and covered, do you not think this has been happening for a lot longer than just today? It really has. I've always seen that. And I've always been laughed at for not believing in a macrocosmic, you know, transspeciation evolutionary theory. I really have people mock me all the time. You know, you idiot, you Christian, you Bible thumper. And I'm like, my understanding of against evolution is not predicated simply on my belief in God. You know, I've doubted the theory of evolution since when I first heard it because it didn't make any sense to analyze and have this sort of complexity coming from a lack of complexity and this building of a species from another and this uptick in evolution. It doesn't make sense because it's not observable and it never has made sense to me. So I've always, you know, thoroughly looked into it. And I think it's funny now. I feel like I'm getting some vindication though, because it's like, now do you see that scientists come together and lie and create theories that are just untrue and ignore the facts and then ignore they throw out any study that doesn't agree with them. And so they create this whole theory of this understanding like of COVID that tells you that, yeah, COVID's real. Look at all our studies when all they ignore, you know, thousands of studies that show that they're wrong. That's happening in most other areas of science today, including with our food and our diet, including with medications, even with just modern medicine and the way we treat long-term diseases, right? Rather than solving the root cause that our food is literally killing us, that our water is poisoning us. I mean, it's really crazy to see how science has sort of become an industry and a regime arm that works against the people and not for us when God intended the discipline and the curiosity of many like-minded people. It was meant to make our worlds better. And many of the most fundamental and basic scientists. And today's science is just like a one giant scam that's meant to screw us over rather than help us. And that's why it breaks my heart, because it's like one thing that God created for good, the enemy meant for evil. And now science is a joke.